Hi Aquarius, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your October 2022 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who like, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, to take out the growth spread as always, and also pull the 4 agreements, wisdom, the oracle, and Mudra card for you guys. We're actually going to start the reading off on Romano's astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. Alright. So we have Taurus, and for you guys, Taurus energy represents your 4th house of home and your mother. And we have Uranus there and the North Node there. Alright, we have 11. And 11th house energy for you guys is Sagittarius. Astrologically speaking, not really anything going on there. But yeah, 11th house in general relates to friendships, groups, hopes, and wishes. And we have the Moon. So the moon's definitely going to be significant. At the time I'm recording this, we haven't had that new moon in Libra yet. So that's going to be around the 26th, I think, 25th, 26th of September. But then, of course, as we progress through October, there's going to be a full moon in Aries, which is your 3rd house communication. And there's going to be a new moon eclipse toward the end of the month in Scorpio. And that, for you guys, is your 10th house career or social status. So definitely going to be some significance around those lunar cycles there, so keep an eye out for those as the month goes on. Alright, so with all that out of the way, we'll get started with the main spread. In the main situation position, you have the World, and then challenging that, you have the 2 of Cups. So to see these 2 cards together, what I'm really getting with these 2 things is that I feel like you've reached a cycle of completion around something, but the challenge is, okay, I know I'm done with this thing, but what's next, right? So, of course, when people see the artwork in the 2 of Cups, you tend to think of love connections first, right? But this could also be, especially for you guys, given that Cancer energy is your 6th house, this could also be related to a work thing, right? So maybe you're wrapping up one work project and you're like, okay, well, where am I going to partner up next, right? Maybe it's a whole new place of employment or another area, something along those lines. But yeah, it looks like that's the situation right now, where you know you're done with one thing, but the question is where to next. That's kind of what I'm seeing with those 2 cards. Alright, in the foundation position, we have the Hangman in reverse. So yeah, this is another indicator that you guys probably did spend a lot of time thinking around the situation and did come to the conclusion, like I said, that for the majority of you, it looks like you did decide that you're ready to move on from something. Now, usually for me, this represents Pisces energy, so this can represent something financially related for sure for you guys, given that that's a money house for you guys, but that's what I see there. Alright, in the past position, we have the 2 of Pentacles reversed. So yeah, this again is another indicator that for a lot of you this will be a financially related thing, but for you guys, Capricorn energy, which this card represents, is actually your 12th house. So to see this in reverse could be saying, again, like I said, you have your mind made up, right? If we think about the 12th house energy, but actually taking the action is the next step. So you could be in that little bit of limbo right now. Alright, present position, we have the Queen of Cups. So more Cancer energy here. So yeah, for a lot of you, I feel like this is saying that you might even have the exact thing in mind, but it's just a matter of taking the step, right? Because we see the cup she's holding there is a closed off cup, right, compared to any of the other cups in the cup suit. So to me, this says that, okay, you might have great value for this thing, right? But you're not necessarily ready to share it with others yet. You're not necessarily ready to let them know what your plan is. So for a lot of you, I feel like you might already know what generally you're planning to do, but you could just be waiting for the right timing, right? Or, okay, I know I want to take on this project, but I need someone to partner up with to actually complete it, right? So maybe you're keeping an eye out for that person, but you're not quite finding them yet, you know, things along those lines. That's kind of what I'm picking up on with that. All right, in the near future position, we have the 6 of Cups. So Scorpio energy here, and for some of you, this could just be saying that you might actually be reconnecting with something that you used to do in the past. So a super generic example, especially given that Scorpio energy represents your 10th house of career, right? Maybe you moved on to a different area for your work, right? And now you might have completed something with there, maybe even experienced some success there, but now you might find that you want to go back to something that you used to do in your past, right? So maybe there is a matter of trying to um, rebuild some bridges there, right? As far as, okay, now I have to get back into this industry. Let me start reconnecting with people there, right? Or something along those lines. Or even just reconnect them with something that you might have had a passion for when you were younger, right? Maybe you got caught up in other goals as you got older, and now you might be finding that, okay, maybe I even achieved a level of success there, but now I'm ready to move on to the next thing. And that next goal you might have in mind is to do something that you're actually passionate about this time around. And for some of you, this could just represent directly reconnecting with someone from your past, too, of course. All right, in a position of your influence in the situation, we have the Ten of Pentacles reversed. So yeah, to see this in reverse to me says that you have certainly reached a certain level of success, but maybe you don't feel like you have quite the level of stability that you want, or for some of you, you might not even necessarily need that anymore, right? So like I said, so all right, again, a generic example. Let's say you took this corporate job where you made a ton of money, right? But it doesn't really speak to your soul, right? You're like, okay, cool, I got this money and all that, but I want to do something that actually makes me happy next, right? So that Ten of Pentacles in reverse in that regard could say that, okay, yeah, I've gotten to that point, I have that level of success, but I'm not even really worried about that anymore. I just want something I enjoy, right? So some of you could be even leaving this type of lifestyle behind. But for you, but for others of you, I feel like this is just saying that it's just more of the matter of stability, right? Where you might not feel stable necessarily, right? So maybe that's even why you're holding back a little bit on taking the next move, because you're like, okay, I don't want to make the wrong move here. But for others of you, like I said, maybe you've reached that certain level and you're like, I want to change a pace here. So either way, it does look like there's a desire for some kind of change. Um, but hopefully that resonated. In the environment position, we have the Wheel of Fortune, Jupiter energy, and the Nine of Cups, Pisces energy. So seeing these two cards here, for one, this reminds me of the fact that toward the end of October, Jupiter is actually going to move back into Pisces. It's been retrograde in Aries for a while. So it'll be back in Pisces, which is, again, like I said, a money house for you guys. And then seeing that Nine of Cups there could just be saying that the combination of those two things could be what, again, brings to your awareness what you actually would like to do, right? So that's what I see with that. And yeah, it could just be saying that's something that you've actually wanted for a long time too. That opportunity might come along for you this month. So, maybe again, you've been like, okay, I'm going to stay with this stable, secure job that I've had, right? Okay, it pays the bills, it's safe. But maybe this opportunity that you've hoped for from the past might come around now to where you're like, okay, I'm actually going to jump on this opportunity because the timing might be right for you now. All right, and the hopes or fears position, we have the Ace of Cups. So yeah, for some of you, again, like I said, it definitely seems like you want to change. Like I said, some of you might be in a more traditional role and have some success there, but you want to change a pace where you want to reconnect with something you're more passionate about, right? Or for others of you, you might have a fear of not having that stability and actually wanting something to come along that would bring that stability to you. But either way, looks like there's a desire for change of pace for sure. And seeing this Ace of Cups energy just seems to point that out even more. All right, and in the outcome position, we have the Chariot. So, Cancer energy here, and nothing else. Like I said, given that for you guys, Cancer energy does represent your health, your work, your daily routines. I feel like this will say that basically you will definitely have a change to one of those areas, if not all, right? Um, so maybe it's just as simple as a daily routine, right? Maybe you want to team up with someone to start a new fitness program, right? Or, like I said, it could be a new job thing. But regardless of what it is, it looks like the universe will actually support you getting on that path and actually moving forward. So it might take till closer to the end of the month, which in a certain way would make sense as far as even though technically Mercury retrograde is going to end uh, right around the 2nd of October, it's still going to have the shadow period until it gets back to the original degree where it started the retrograde. So that's going to be around the 3rd week of October. So Could just be saying that that energy needs to clear up a little bit, but yeah, it does look like you will get that forward movement that you've been looking for. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Three of Swords, which is a Libra energy here. So yeah, it could just be saying that you definitely might have gone through a disappointment, right? And that could be possibly even what led you on this journey to move on to the new, right? So maybe this was just a matter of acceptance that, okay, whatever situation you were dealing with might have come to an end, and now you're coming to the realization that, all right, I learned everything I needed to learn from the situation, right? So what next? So it could just be the processing you guys are going through. Good thing is, beneath that, we do see the Four of Wands. So yeah, I feel like it's going to be a temporary setback. And that's kind of what I picked up on too with the Wheel of Fortune energy with the Nine of Cups, is that, something might be being cleared away for something better to come along. And that's something that can happen with eclipse season as well, which, like we said, as we get toward the end of the month, you'll have that eclipse in Scorpio. And then, of course, in November, there's going to be another one in Taurus. So definitely be some changes for you guys for sure. All right, moving on to your Four Agreements card, we have be impeccable with your word, and it says let go of self-judgment and blame. All right, let's see what it says. It says, being impeccable, you take responsibility for your actions, but you do not judge or blame yourself for anything. So, definitely a pretty positive message there, especially if, like I said, if there was some disappointment, right, where maybe you held on to something a little too long and you're like, okay, or maybe again, you're like, oh man, why did I get off this path, right, that I want to reconnect to now? I wasted time, whatever the case may be. I feel like this is saying, hey, it all needed to happen that way with the World card, the Wheel of Fortune, and now the timing's right for you to move to the next thing. All right, moving on to your Wisdom of the Oracle card, we have Chaos and Conflict. There's the artwork, and the number is 33. Interesting card to see there, because I really don't see much of an energy of conflict at all with the main spread, but we'll see what it says. Okay, the essential meaning says disarray, being at cross purposes with another, the tension of opposites, the value of chaos before order. All right, well, I wouldn't necessarily say chaos before order, but chaos before order makes you think of the fact that, at least, like I said, it looks like there's some cycle that's wrapping up for you guys, and it looks like the timing's just right for you to move to that next thing. So I could see, like I said, maybe a bit of a bumpy ride there, but we'll see what else it says. The Oracle's message says, opposing forces come together to create a turbulent atmosphere, but consider the value of chaos that serves you well as you become unmoored by it. Scattered to the winds, you leave behind the parts of yourself you no longer need and disperse seeds to reinvent yourself anew. Although the conflict appears to exist externally, its essence is also internal, projected outward and causing disarray. You may find yourself at cross purposes with someone else, facing a storm you feel you can't control. Yet every storm passes, and chaos leads to a reordering of things. Conflict provides a way to see more than one side of a situation. Look upon this as just a moment in time when you may need to take shelter and step away from the fray. Don't be too eager to fight. This is a time to understand rather than to be understood. So yeah, definitely an interesting message there, especially because, like I said, if nothing else, that full moon that you guys are going to have in Aries is in your third house communication, and it's going to be conjunct Chiron. So there could definitely be some intensity there. But other than that, like I said, it doesn't seem like there's much of an energy for massive conflict, but hopefully that resonated. The relationship message says stubbornness is keeping you in a state of opposition. The incessant need to be right will only serve to prolong the conflict that deep down you want to be resolved. This is an opportune moment to learn about your values, your sense of self, what's really important to you. Some things are non-negotiable. If that's true, it's not necessary to fight. Can you find a way through the stormy emotions to higher ground? Soon the air will clear, and you will be in a much better place than before, for the storm will have passed, blazing a path for new growth in its wake. Things can become electric and enlightened, always better than before, if you use this time constructively. So yeah, definitely a pretty positive message there as well. I didn't necessarily see this as a huge like one-to-one relationship situation. Like I said, it seems to be more financially related for a lot of you, but we do see some cards that can point to relationships. So hopefully that resonated. And the prosperity message says circumstances appear to be chaotic, but everything that is happening now is in truth shaking things up so you can find the real path to your prosperity. Yes, it's a stormy time, and it feels as if there are opposing forces wherever you turn. Be reassured that there is divine purpose in this chaos. Everything that doesn't work is being taken from you, so the truest parts of yourself remain. The events occurring now are essential for your ultimate prosperity. This chaos is divinely inspired, even though it doesn't appear that way now. In time, you will know this to be true. So, yeah, definitely a pretty positive message there, too. And the more I'm reading that, I kind of feel like maybe that's what that Three of Swords energy is pointing to, is maybe you guys are coming out of that energy. Like this, the past energy doesn't necessarily come across to me as conflict. Like I said, it seems more like you just made up your mind around something that, okay, this thing is over, I want to move on to the next thing. But maybe there was conflict that took place before that. So if that's the case, hopefully that all resonated with you. All right, and lastly, we have a mudra. So this is your mudra here. It's the Mahashirsha mudra. The keyword for it is relief. All right, and there's the info on it if you want to pause it or take a screenshot to read what it has to say. But under benefits, it says relieves headaches, reduces tension in the eyes, breaks up congestion in the frontal sinuses, improves mental clarity. So if that sounds like a mudra you think would be beneficial for you guys, we'll put the name in the description video as always. We'll wrap up there and we'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.